Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well and staying healthy at home. I also hope that you're continuing to do your yoga practice. I wanted to make this video for you as a guide, if you need it, through your practice, just doing some general poses that we have already covered in class. If it's helpful for you, please let me know, and if we have enough positive response, I can continue to make the videos, hopefully on a weekly basis. And also if you have any feedback, please let me know that as well. So let's get started on our backs in our usual Shavasana pose. And you can see here that I do have 2 blocks and a strap. If you don't have any blocks handy, you can also just roll up a towel or roll up a blanket to support your hips when we come into that seated position. And also, I don't have a yoga strap, I just have a belt. So using a belt will also work when we come into some stretches. All right, so let's go ahead and roll onto our backs. Let's come into our initial pose of Shavasana. So go ahead and lie back. Remember, if you do have any concerns with the lower back, feel free to bend those knees and rest the inner knees against each other. If the lower back feels pretty good today, then you can extend those legs long onto the mat, separate those feet a little bit wider than the hips, and then allow the arms to just relax down by the sides, turn the palms to face up, close the eyes, and let's just take a few moments here. So with everything going on, important to allow the mind to kind of get its own relaxation, its own release from the many thoughts that can happen in your head. So let's start to focus on our breath as we build our Ujjayi Breath. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's open and comfortable. Finding the breath in and out of the lower belly region, feeling it rise and fall as you breathe. And then let's add a soothing sound to our breath, our Ujjayi breath. And while we take a few more moments here, really allow the body to fully relax. So sometimes we carry stress in different areas of our body. So if you know of those areas, see if you can relax them further, or even just relax the body as a whole. And let's take this time to identify those areas of the body that might need some modification or even skipping. So always do what feels good to you. If you feel any pain or any shortness of breath, dizziness, or any unusual symptom, please stop immediately and seek medical attention. Let's just take a couple more deep rounds of breath of our Ujjayi breath here. And then as you're ready, let's slowly start to bend those knees, slide the feet onto your mat. Let's separate the feet as wide as the mat. And then we'll draw the arms either out to a T shape or a little cactus shape or even a diamond shape over the head. So whatever's most comfortable for your shoulders, where you can still fully relax the elbows down into the mat. And with the upper half of the body relaxed, let's start that gentle sway of the knees right and left. So it doesn't have to be all the way, it doesn't even have to be halfway down. Just enough where you get an easy twist. You might feel the buttocks lift off of the mat. So starting to gently warm things up. You might even get a little side stretch, a stretch along the thighs or the hip flexors. And then let's come back to center, rest those knees back towards each other. And then start to draw those arms back down by the sides. And then when your arms get down by the sides, step those feet about hip bone distance apart. And then let's one by one hug those knees into the chest. And then maybe find that little rock left and right to massage out the lower back. And then let's start to warm up through the legs. So extend those legs up to the ceiling and point and flex the feet a few times. Wiggle those toes, stretch the soles of the feet, and then start to turn the feet a few times in each direction, just to warm up through the ankles. And then let's press the heels up, toes back down towards your face, arms extend up, draw the backs of the shoulders into the mat. So you feel an opening for the chest. So we're active in the muscles of the upper back, feeling openness through the chest. Let's take an inhale, and then as you exhale, let's hug it all in. Point through the toes, maybe pick the head off of the mat, direct the forehead to the knees, or maybe you're leaving the head back on the mat. That's fine too. So next inhale, extend those limbs up. And then exhale, draw it in, engaging through the core. And then 3 more rounds on your rhythm of breath. If it feels good to extend the limbs a little bit further away from each other, you can, but you really need to engage through the core to maintain that neutral position of the spine. And then draw it in. Release the head down if it's lifted. One hand lightly on each knee. Let's start to slowly circle those knees in opposite direction. Easy early stretch. And then change the direction of your knee circles. And then let's set the left foot down, extend the right leg up to the ceiling, and then let's draw the right arms down by the sides, turn the palms to face each other, and notice if the right toes are pointing out to the side. Try to keep them shooting straight up over the head. And then on the inhale, as you lower that right leg any amount, remember neutral position in the spine, tighten up through the core. Let's start to lift those arms as well, up to the ceiling or over the head. And then as you exhale, arms drop back down by the sides and the right leg up to the ceiling. So inhale, lower the leg, lift the arms, any amount, tighten up through the core, neutral position in the spine, and then exhale, draw it back to that starting position. Inhale, right leg lowers, arms lift, and exhale, back to starting. And then one more time, finding your Ujjayi breath, feel the backs of the shoulders press into the mat. Nice. And then go ahead and bend that right knee. Hug it in towards the chest or even a little bit out to the right shoulder. And then let's switch over to the other side. Extend the left leg up to the ceiling. Make sure the toes are pointing straight up to your head or over the head. Arms down by the sides, palms facing each other. Glue the backs of the shoulders into the mat. And then as you inhale, lower that left leg to your comfort point. Remember to engage strongly through the belly. And let's lift those arms to a comfortable point, being mindful of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, use the core, left leg back up to the ceiling, arms back down by the sides. So inhale, left leg lowers, arms lift, and then exhale back to that starting point. So 3 more rounds. Using the core, you'll feel the work of the leg. Keep gently pressing those shoulders back down into the mat and resist the urge for the hips to start to twist. And then draw everything back to that neutral position, starting position. Hug the left knee in, maybe even a little bit to the left shoulder. And then let's place our feet onto the mat. Let's come into our bridge pose. So have those feet about hip bone distance apart, all 10 toes pointing forward. Heels are about 1 hand length away from your bottom, arms down by the sides. We'll do a few dynamic bridges or bridge pulses. So as you're ready, flatten the lower back into the mat, almost as if you're leading with the tailbone to lift those hips to a comfortable height. You might feel a stretch in the back of the neck, and then let's slowly roll it down the spine with control. So engaging through the core, the front core to do so. Inhale, press and lift, leading with the tailbone, and then exhale, slowly roll it on down the spine. Let's do 3 more rounds, finding that deep and smooth Ujjayi breath. So lots of power through the body, but still staying as relaxed as you can in the rest of the body or the parts of the body that aren't moving too much, and staying relaxed in the breath and also the mind. Let's do 1 more round. And then let's go ahead and release all the way down. And when your bottom reaches down onto the mat, go ahead and hug those knees into the chest, maybe a little rock left and right or a circular pattern, whatever feels good to you. And then let's start to draw those knees together. Extend both legs up to the ceiling. So press the heels up, draw the toes back down towards your face. Start to find neutral position in the spine, so engaging through the belly. And then let's start with the arms down by the sides with the palms facing each other. So you're welcome to stay here. You can even bend those knees a little bit more as long as you find neutral position in the spine and we're not taxing out the lower back. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, and it is okay for you to do so, you can start to lean the legs a little bit further away from you just until you feel that pull of the lower belly. So we're really working out through the core. Legs will stay where they are, but at any time, if you need to draw them in or even draw them a little bit closer to you, feel free to do so. It's just the arms that are going to move with the breath. So inhale, arms lift up to a comfortable point, drag the backs of the shoulders into the mat, and then exhale, arms, just the arms draw back down by the side so the legs stay at that same angle. Lower half of the body is as still as you can make it as you inhale to lift the arms, and then exhale, draw them back. So 3 more rounds on the rhythm of your breath. Remember, at any time you need to draw those knees in for a little hug, for a stretch for the lower back, feel free to do so. At any time you can change the angle of the legs, drawing them a little bit closer to you to make it more relaxing, or even a little bit further away from you to make it more energizing. And then the next time the arms draw down, return the legs up to the ceiling first, and then bend those knees, hug them in, squeeze them in. And then let's place the feet down onto our mat for another dynamic bridge. This time we'll use the arms. We'll have the arms kind of move in opposite direction as the hips. So as you lift the hips, arms stay down by the sides. And then as you roll down the spine, hips return back to the mat, we'll lift the arms. So inhale, press into the feet to lift the hips. You can even press into the hands, and then exhale. Let's slowly roll it on down and lift. 3 more rounds on the rhythm of your breath. Finding that Ujjayi breath, keeping the head relatively still. And without moving the head, see if you can kind of take a quick peek, averting your eyes to the knees, making sure those knees are still about hip bone distance apart. Make sure that you're not rolling to the outer edges or the inner edges of the feet, but we're using all 4 corners of the feet. And then let's slowly release those hips, roll it on down, and then hug those knees into the chest. Let's set those feet down onto the mat, and then go ahead and lengthen those legs long. Let's find mountain pose on our back. Finding a strong way of being in our mountain pose, even though we're on our back. So still engaging through the thighs, the belly, the shoulders are drawing back towards the mat. Let's start to bend the right knee, and we'll keep that right foot relatively close to the inside of the left leg, and let's start to open the right leg out, coming into tree pose on our back. We don't want the hips to start to twist, so if you do need some support, if you have your block or a blanket, you can draw it underneath the right leg, or you can even just use your hand there for a little bit of support, just to get an inner stretch here. Nice, and then we'll use that right hand to press that right knee back up to the ceiling, and then we'll bend the left knee, slide left foot onto the floor, and then straighten the right leg, and just move over to the other side. Start to find your tree pose. Remember, you do need some core action here to make sure that the hips don't lift, that the hips stay nice and even, and you do have your left hand there for support, or a block or a towel. Let's use our left hand to press the left knee back up. Let's bend the right knee, slide the right foot onto the floor, and then we'll slowly roll onto our right side, coming into fetal pose. And then let's slowly press our way up to come into a comfortable seated position. So remember, comfortable seated position, that is a seated position with the legs in whatever form makes you most comfortable. If you do need a little bit more support for your hips, you can use blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, you can roll a towel or a blanket and just prop them underneath your hips so you can sit up as tall as you can. Feel the sides of the body lengthen, and then let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart center. Maybe close the eyes. Take a moment to find your Ujjayi breath once again. And if you'd like to set an intention or a dedication of your practice, go ahead and do so at this time. And then let's open the eyes if they're closed. Namaste. Nice to be able to practice with you again. Let's inhale to circle those arms out and up. Keep the shoulders down. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. And then 1 more time. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Let's go ahead and place the hands onto the thighs. Let's find a few little spinal rolls, spinal circles. Remember, the size of your circle is up to you. Maybe you're looking for a little prolonged stretch if you find a little tight spot, or maybe you're just looking for some good movement. Let's change the direction of the circle. And then let's return to that tall way of sitting. We'll extend our fingertips out to the side and draw that other arm out and up. An easy side bend. Keep moving the shoulders down, even bend through that bottom elbow. Lots of space for the neck. And then let's press our way up over to the other side. Stretch those fingertips out from the hip. Opposite arm lifts, move the shoulders down, an easy side bend. Make sure that the bottom elbow isn't flaring back behind you as well. So try to stay relaxed in those areas. And then pressing back up. Inhale, arm lifts. Exhale, easy side bend. Inhale, arm lifts. Exhale, easy side bend. And then 1 more time on each side. Just getting some good opening for the side waist and some good movement for the spine. Let's come back to center. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, walk your fingertips forward and just find a little forward fold. You can keep your forearms onto your legs, or you can extend those arms forward. Just anything that feels good for a stretch for the lower back. And you're pressing your hips down into the mat. And then let's walk our hands back to our legs so we could sit up tall and change the crossing of the legs, just coming into some more dynamic twists, some movement for the spine. So we'll take an inhale. Think of lengthening, and as you exhale, easy twist. Inhale brings you back to center, and then exhale over to the other side. So it doesn't have to be too deep of a twist, maybe even halfway or 3/4 of a full twist for you. Just because we're moving in a more dynamic way. Inhale to center, exhale over to the other side. And then 1 more time on each side. Inhale to lift, exhale is when you twist. And inhale, come back to center, and exhale, go ahead and twist. And then let's come back to center and then walk forward any amount. Maybe it's just the forearms resting onto the legs, or you're extending your arms a little bit more forward as you fold just a little bit forward, feeling an easy stretch along the back of the body. Let's walk the hands back towards us to sit up tall. Draw the palms of the hands together. Inhale, let's lift those hands pressing together, keep the shoulders down, and then exhale, open it up. Maybe draw those arms a little bit further back behind you to get a stretch for the chest. Just make sure you're not popping your rib cage forward, so keep tightening up through the belly. Inhale is to lift. Exhale, open it out. And then 1 more time, just to fully warm up through those muscles of the back, get a nice stretch for the chest. And then let's draw those hands back onto the thighs. And from here, we'll slowly move into our tabletop position. So remember, if you do have any concerns with the wrists, feel free to, if you have blocks, you can place them underneath your forearms, or you can even use pillows, or even stack a couple blankets or towels underneath your forearms. Otherwise, in our tabletop pose, we'll have our wrists right underneath the shoulders, or just a little bit forward. And then the knees will be right underneath the hips. And let's come into a few rounds of our cow-cat. Inhaling, tailbone lift, shoulders back, arch in the spine, gentle arch, and then exhaling round through the spine, coming into our cat pose. Inhaling into cow, and exhale into cat. Let's do 3 more rounds. If you'd like, you can add a little bit of a circular pattern, still finding that cow-cat within that circle. And if you have circled, go ahead and change the direction of your circles. You might even feel an easy stretch for those wrists as well. Ooh, my wrist just cracked. Let's come back to center. Widen the knees, draw the toes towards each other. Let's sit it back into child's pose. Releasing forehead on a block, towel, or a blanket, whatever feels good. So feel free to use whatever props you need, whatever props you have in your house to make it more comfortable. You can even use a pillow underneath your head if that feels good. And then let's make our way back to our tabletop pose. Let's come into a few rounds of our balancing cat. So extend your right leg back, your left arm, or your left leg and your right arm, whatever side you want to feel, as long as it's opposite arm to leg. You can stay with the toes down, or you can lift that leg just to the height of the hip. Feel the squeeze of the belly, feel the shoulders draw back. And if you feel any shakiness, that's fine. Embrace it. That means you're gaining some strength. And then let's return. Neutral tabletop position. Shoulders draw back, belly pulled in, neutral spine as best as you can. And then over to the other side. Opposite leg to arm, maybe toes down, or maybe the leg lifts. If your leg is lifted, turn those toes to point straight down towards the mat. That'll ensure that the hips are even. Nice. And then go ahead and set those limbs down. Let's scooch back so our toes are more towards the back edge of the mat. And let's come into puppy pose. So we'll keep those hips right atop the knees and release down onto our forearms. And you're just walking it as far forward as is comfortable, melting the chest, the forehead down. So find what works best for your body. And then we'll reverse that. Let's come out. We'll lift the chest so we can release the hips down, widen those knees, and sit it back into your child's pose. And then from our child's pose, we'll look forward, and as low to the mat as you can, let's slither forward onto our bellies. And you'll get there as in the most comfortable way that you can. Releasing rib cage, forehead on a block or mat, towel, whichever you like. Hands alongside the ribs for Cobra Pose. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Feel even the pinky toenail touch the mat. And then on the inhale, let's come into Cobra Pose. So elbows alongside the body. And draw the shoulders back. As we slowly lift the chest and the head, we're also engaging through the belly. So make sure the tailbone isn't lifting up, but it's pointing a little bit closer down towards the heels. And then on the next exhale, let's slowly release. So pulsing through our Cobra Pose. Inhale is to lift. And then exhale is to release down. So as you move 3 more rounds on your own, the height of your Cobra is up to you. You can stay relatively low, or you can go a little bit higher, but use that action of dragging the hands back behind you, so really energizing through the arms. And then the next time you come down, let's slide the hands underneath the forehead, bend those knees, and start to sway the lower legs left and right. Go ahead and extend those legs back long. Lift the head off of the hands. Draw the hands alongside the ribs as if you're coming into Cobra. Same initial action of Cobra. So draw those shoulders back, elbows hug in, but we'll continue to press into our hands to peel ourselves off of the mat. And let's sit it back into child's pose. And taking a moment here in child's pose, remembering that you can use child's pose as a way to stretch the hands, the wrists, and then as you're ready, extend those arms forward, either puppy pose or downward facing dog. So If you're coming into puppy pose, hips over the knees, walk those hands forward, release forearms, elbows, maybe forehead down to a comfortable point. Downward facing dog from our tabletop pose. Walk your hands a little bit forward of the shoulders, curl the toes under. You can start with those feet hip bone distance apart, or even a little bit wider. Send those hips back. So really press into the hands to send those hips back. Shoulders draw back. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to straighten those legs. Any amount, nice, easy sensation along the back of the legs. Pulling the belly in. Moving those shoulders down or up towards the hips. Finding the pointy parts of the elbows start to point down towards the mat. And you do that with that external rotation at the shoulder joint. And then finding the ears in line with the arms. Really strong in the hands. Take another round of breath here. And then go ahead and release those knees down to the mat. And sit it back into child's pose. Take a moment here, maybe even stretch out through the hands. And then from our child's pose, let's slowly rise back up. And then your choice of an inversion one more time, either puppy pose, downward facing dog, or if you'd prefer to skip, just come right into a forward fold at the top or at the back of the mat, whatever is most comfortable for you. So if you are coming into your inversion, just taking a few more moments here, making sure the shoulders are drawing back, lots of space for the head. You can even kind of wiggle the head right and left and make sure you're not touching the arms. And then maybe a little pedal through the legs if that feels good. But really focus on sending those hips back. Remember, bend those knees as much as you need to. And then as you're ready, in the manner that is most comfortable and safe for you to come to a forward fold at the top or the back of the mat, go ahead and get yourself there. And then as you're ready, let's bend those knees, engage to the core. Let's roll it on up. If you need to fix the clothes, you can. And then when you get to the top, let's circle those arms out and up. And then hands to the heart. All right, so welcome to our standing practice now. Let's stand in our mountain pose. Let's have the feet about hip bone distance apart. Draw the shoulders back. Turn the palms to face forward. Let's do just a few half sun salutes. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, dive it into your forward fold. The depth is up to you. You can stay a little bit higher or you can go a little bit lower if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift, draw the heart forward. Exhale, release back down. And then let's rise on up, circle those arms out and up. And then exhale, hands to the heart. 2 more times, arms out and up as you inhale. Exhale, soften the knees, hinge forward at the hips. Inhale, lift the heart halfway. Exhale, release. Let's rise all the way up. Remember, either strong flat back or you can roll up the spine as long as those knees are bent and you're engaging strongly through the core. One last time, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Let's rise all the way up, arms out and up, and then exhale, hands to the heart. All right, let's come back to mountain pose and let's start to come into some of our standing poses. I'm going to come to the top of my mat. So from the top of the mat, let's keep the right foot where it is and step the left foot back. Let's come into our warrior one base. Remember, heels of the feet, hip bone distance, left toes angled steeply to the outside of the top left corner of the mat. And then when you're ready, bend the right knee, stack it and track it, engage through those feet. So energy in the feet, the ankles, the legs, the core is tight. And then when you're ready, go ahead and add those arms, reach those arms up to a comfortable point. Move those shoulders down, palms facing each other. Still thinking about downward facing dog arms, so lots of space for the head. So our arms aren't right next to the head. There's there's a lot of space for our head or our neck to breathe. We'll take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, let's draw those arms forward and back as we straighten through that right leg. So we're not hinging forward at the hips, we're straightening through the right leg, but we're really feeling the work of those thighs. And then let's bend through that right knee, lift those arms back to warrior one, and then straighten the right leg, and we'll just draw those arms back to a comfortable point. My shoulders are still over the hips. One more time. Inhale, warrior one, and then exhale, straighten. And then let's come back to warrior one, melt the shoulders down. Let's lift the left heel, turn the left toes to point forward. If you would like to come into high crescent pose and work a little bit on the balance. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, let's release those arms forward and down, transfer the weight into the right leg, and just slowly take your time, maybe a little balance, to come to the top of the mat. Let's move over to the other side. Left foot stays as is. Let's step the the right foot back, warrior one base. And then taking the time to make sure all the foundation of your pose is there, the alignment, the feet, especially that left knee, strong in the legs, strong in the ankles, even the feet and the core, shoulders move down. And then let's add the arms. Find your Ujjayi breath. And we'll take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, draw the arms back behind you and straighten the left leg. You might feel a little opening of the chest. Inhale, press or bend the left knee, draw those arms forward and up, and then exhale, straighten the left leg, feel the thighs work as you draw those arms back to a comfortable point. And then one more time, inhale, warrior one. Make sure the left knee doesn't go past the left ankle, and then exhale, straighten up, arms draw back. And then let's bend through the left knee, find warrior one, melt the shoulders down, and then we'll lift the right heel, turn the right toes to point forward, high crescent base, tighten up through the core. Take another inhale, exhale, release those arms forward and down. Take your time to transfer the weight into the left leg, and then step to the top of the mat. Let's draw the hands onto the hips. Draw the elbows towards each other. Use the thumbs to point the tailbone down. We're still tightening up through the core. And then inhale to get some nice lift of the chest. And then exhale. Maybe stay here, or maybe think about a little upper back bend underneath the shoulder blades. We're still drawing those elbows towards each other. It's getting a nice opening for the chest. Keep pressing the tailbone down, lengthening through the lower back. And then let's upright and go ahead and release those arms. Shake it out if you need to. Let's come into kind of a counter pose for that, into a supported forward fold. So separating those feet a little bit wider than the hips. Start to bend those knees and then relax forward. Forearms onto the thighs. If it is okay on your body to go deeper into the fold, you can slide your hands down the legs, even hands onto the mat. Maybe head release. So find the forward fold that works best for your body. Maybe that's a little bit higher for now. And then let's draw the hands onto the thighs, elbows in, belly engaged, bend those knees, and let's slowly roll it on up. And then come to the top of the mat if you're not already there. Let's come back into warrior one. So right foot stays where it is, left foot slides back. Take an inhale, and then this time as you exhale, draw the arms alongside. We'll straighten the right leg just as we did before and start to hinge a little bit at the hips. So think of that strong flat back, really tighten up through the core, mild sensation along the back of that right leg, and we'll kind of glue our arms alongside the body, move the shoulders down. So an easy stretch along the back of the right leg, but we're still tightening up through the thighs. And then start to rebend through that right knee. Inhale to lift. And then exhale, arms back, straighten that right leg, hinge forward until you feel that mild sensation only underneath the right leg. Keep those hips even. And then one more time, bend through the right knee, warrior one. And then exhale, straighten the right leg, hinge forward at the hips. Kind of a version of our pyramid pose. And then let's start to bend that right knee, draw those arms forward and up. Warrior one. Let's lift the left heel, turn the left toes to point forward, high crescent pose. And then we'll release those arms down and slowly transfer the weight, maybe pausing, standing tall in the right leg, and then releasing the left foot down. Let's move over to the other side. Left foot stays where it is. Right foot steps back, warrior one, taking the time to make sure all the alignment is there. And then when you're ready, let's add those arms, find warrior one, melt the shoulders down. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, arms draw back behind, straighten the left leg, hinge forward at the hips. We're going to stay here for just a couple rounds of breath so you can find the depth of the hinge forward that works best for you. Shoulders move down, arms alongside the body. And then let's flow with this. Bend through the left knee. Inhale, warrior one. Feel the back, the outer edge of that right foot press into the mat. And then exhale, arms back down. Straighten the left leg, hinge forward. Any amount, your mild sensation only underneath the left leg. Bend through the left knee. Inhale, upright the spine, warrior one. And then exhale, straighten the left leg, hinge a little bit forward. And then bend through the left knee, warrior one, melt the shoulders down. Let's come into our high crescent pose, lift the right heel, turn the right toes to point forward, challenging the balance. And then draw those arms forward and down, stand tall as best as you can in your left leg. You can keep those right toes down if you want. And then let's place that right foot at the top of the mat. Let's come into our chair pose. So either feet together or feet hip bone distance apart, your choice. And then when you're ready, bending those knees, drawing those hips back behind you, tighten up through the core, lengthen through the lower back, lower spine, and then sink into your chair. Shoulders drop back. Remember, it doesn't have to be too deep of a chair pose. As long as you're squeezing through the legs and through your bottom and through the core, you're still getting some really good work. We want to keep that chest lifted. And then from here, maybe you're staying here, maybe you're starting to lift those heels off of your mat, working with a little balance here, using those toes, finding the wiggle of those toes to grip the mat. And then go ahead and set those heels down and stand up tall. Inhale, let's circle those arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's just take a moment here. Find your intention or your dedication. And then let's open the eyes and relax those arms back down. Let's continue to move with our standing poses. So going in a little bit of a flow. So from the top of the mat, we'll keep the right foot where it is. Step the left foot back, warrior one base. Inhale, arms lift. And then exhale, let's open up to warrior two. So heel to arch alignment. Bending the right knee to stack and track. Feel that outer right leg work to keep that knee in that center, tracking towards the center of the toes. Left foot is slightly pigeon-toed. Feel that ankle of the left ankle work as well. And when you're ready, let's open up the arms and pull the shoulders down. And then maybe the gaze is over the right hand. And then let's flip the right palm, reach it up and back, reverse your warrior. So you can either go in the same direction as I'm going, or you can mirror me. So whatever feels most comfortable to you. And then let's come back. Let's do a little shift forward, side angle pose, forearm onto the thigh, opposite arm reaches up, shoulders move down. The gaze is wherever feels most comfortable, which is helpful for your balance. And then let's make our way back, warrior two. Relax the arms down. Let's heel toe this back foot until you can comfortably turn the hips and the chest to point towards the top edge of the mat, and then find a little bit of balance here. Maybe palms together at your heart, maybe a little warrior three. And then let's place that foot back down onto the mat. Let's move over to the other side. I'm just going to walk over to this side. This will now be the front edge of my mat. So you can see me when I come into my warrior two. So when you're ready, left foot stays where it is, right foot steps back. Warrior one. And melt the shoulders down. Nice. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, let's open up to warrior two. Adjusting those feet, heel to arch alignment. Bending the left knee to stack and track. Using the outside of the left leg. And then opening up the arms and pulling the shoulders down. Flipping that front palm, reach it up and back. Reverse your warrior. Coming back to center, little shift forward, side angle pose. Move the shoulders down, maybe the gaze is up, but keep pulling those shoulders down. And then let's press our way back to warrior two. Relax those arms, start to heel toe that back foot forward until you can comfortably and safely turn to point the chest back to the front edge of the mat, maybe hands at your heart. Tighten up through the core, maybe a little warrior three. Embracing all those wiggles. And then let's make our way back to standing. And let's release those arms and go and shake it out if you need to. Let's do a little bit more balance. We warmed up those ankles, so let's come into our tree pose. Let's find our feet a little bit closer together. And then we'll lift one heel, open it out so you can place the heel on the inside of the ankle. And then maybe the hands are together at your heart, or maybe your arms are extending out. And finding your tree pose. You can be a more stable tree with that foot completely off the floor. If you want to test your balance a little bit more, you can start to slide it up. And enjoy all those wiggles that might be happening. It's happening in my tree. And then let's release arms and foot down, wiggle it out if you need to, and then right over to the other side. Lift the heel, turn it out, and then find where you are challenging yourself, but you don't have the tendency or that you don't feel like you're going to fall. And if you come out, that's a good thing. You're practice catching yourself. So it's all good. Maybe the arms out and then down. And then let's shake it out. All right. So we just did a few of our standing poses. Let's come to a seated position on our mats to do some stretches. All right. So from a comfortable seated position, remember, feel free to draw a towel or blanket underneath your bottom if you need a little bit more lift. Let's just get an easy neck stretch. So bottom of the chin parallel to the floor. We'll take an inhale here. And as you exhale, just very slowly lean the head off to one side. And if you need to, if you'd like to make a micro adjustment, drawing the chin maybe a little bit closer to the chest, you can, just to feel a nice stretch. If you need a little bit more support, you can even draw the hands out to the side, but keep relaxing those shoulders down. And then we'll slowly draw the head back up and over to the other side. Finding your comfortable stretch. And if it doesn't feel comfortable, then there's no reason to do it. Just getting some easy stretches for this final portion of our class. Still finding that Ujjayi breath. And then let's slowly upright the head. If your legs are crossed, change the crossing of the legs. And let's walk our fingertips back behind us. Draw the shoulders back. We're just going to lean back a little bit. You can stay on the fingertips. You can flatten the hands down into the mat. But notice if the knees are starting to come up. As best as you can, relax them down, and we'll draw the shoulders back and get an easy lift of the chest. So you're arching the spine to a comfortable point. It doesn't have to be too much, just where you get a nice stretch for the chest. And the position of the head is where it's most comfortable to you. So if looking forward feels better on the neck, then you can look forward. Or if looking up feels good, then you can look up. And then we'll slowly use our hands to walk ourselves back to upright. And then while we're here, let's draw the soles of the feet together. Coming into our butterfly pose, you can adjust the distance of your feet to your bottom. And we'll sit up tall as we inhale, and then exhale, fold any amount. So if you do have any joint concerns, or if a position of the leg doesn't feel good, modify or just skip. And we'll just take a few more deep rounds of breath here. Start to feel kind of the body, the mind, everything slow down. And let's start to walk our hands back towards us. We'll use our hands to draw the knees to point back up. I'm going to resituate myself on my mat. So we'll keep the right knee bent and we'll extend the left leg long. Or you can go, if you'd like to mirror me, just do the opposite. And we'll step that foot to the outside of the extended leg, coming into a seated twist. Make sure your sitting bones are firmly planted into your mat. And at any time, if you need a towel or a blanket, you can slide that underneath your bottom. We'll take an inhale to lengthen, and then as you exhale, you'll turn to the direction of the leg that is bent. So my right knee is bent, so I'm going to turn to my right. Easy twist to the right. Relaxing the shoulders, looking to a comfortable point that feels good, and you might even get a stretch for the neck, or if you would like, you can even drop the chin down. But keep the toes of that lengthened leg pointing up towards the ceiling. And then let's slowly untwist, and we'll go right over to the other side. So opposite leg, you can even lift it, step that foot to the outside of the straightened leg. We'll take an inhale to lengthen, and then an exhale, easy, gentle twist, relaxing into the twist. So not forcing ourselves to come to a certain point in our twist, just feeling, moving slowly to allow the body, and the body will let you know how far to go into your twist. And then whatever position of the head feels good on the neck. And then let's slowly untwist, extend both legs forward. Let's come into a relaxed seated forward fold. So take an inhale, and then as you exhale, try to hinge forward as best as you can at the hips until you feel that mild sensation underneath the legs, and then you can start to round through the spine. But place your hands onto your mat so the weight of the upper half of the body is being supported by your hands and not just kind of hanging out in that lower spine. If it feels good to release the head down, you can, or you can even stay up a little bit higher. So depending on how open your legs are, the back of your legs, mine aren't that open, so I'm going to stay relatively high in this fold, but I will keep all 10 toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then let's slowly use our hands to press our way back to an upright position, upright seated position. And from here, we're going to roll onto our backs. So bend those knees, slowly roll it on down so we can finish with our thread the needle pose. So for our thread the needle pose, cross the right ankle over the left thigh above the knee. Try to get the ankle bone to the outside of the left leg. And then you're welcome to stay here. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper into the pose, you can draw the leg shape towards you. You can use your hands to cradle. If you have that belt handy, you can even use the belt around that left leg and get an easy stretch here. Notice if that knee is coming in towards you. See if you can kind of internally draw it away from you. So we're not physically pressing it away. We're just guiding it away without using our hand. And then we'll slowly release. Let's move over to the other side. Opposite ankle crosses over the thigh above the knee, flex through the foot. Keep the foot down or draw the leg shape towards you. Just make sure you're supporting your legs so your lower back doesn't have to do any work at all. And don't forget your Ujjayi breath. That'll help to relax the body a little bit more. And then let's slowly release. If you have a strap or a belt, just place it off to the side. And then let's hug those knees into the chest. Let's come into happy baby pose. Hands can be behind the thighs or peace fingers around the big toes with the palms facing each other. And maybe it's a little extra stretching, one leg straight, then the other, or both. Or maybe you're picking your hips off of the mat if that feels good on the spine. Or you're drawing the feet together, coming into kind of a butterfly pose meets happy baby, or you're finding some motion. So lots of options here for however type of baby you'd like to have. So we'll just be in here for just a couple more moments, just feeling things out, making it feel good. And then let's slowly release those feet down onto the mat. Separate your feet as wide as the mat. Same pose that we started our practice in. So let's draw those arms maybe out into a T shape, cactus, or even diamond shape, and we'll draw those legs over to one side. So you may notice that you're able to come a little bit deeper into the twist than you did at that first opening twist that we did. But just finding an easy twist. You'll even feel a stretch along the side of the body, even the thigh. And then let's come through center over to the other side. Just to a comfortable twist that feels good to you. Keeping the shoulders completely relaxed onto your mat. And then we'll make our way back to center. Let's slowly relax those arms down by the sides, preparing for our final pose of Shavasana. You can keep those feet right where they are with the knees resting against each other. If you'd like, you can extend those legs long onto the mat. Separate those feet wider than the hips. Wherever you are, arms down by the sides, palms facing up. And of course, unfortunately, I will not be able to come around and with lavender essential oil and press your shoulders into the mat. But just imagine that you can smell that lavender, relaxing lavender scent. And imagine that your shoulders are just gently melting into the mat. Coming into our final pose of Shavasana, where we will release any conscious way of breathing, and we'll be here for just a few minutes. And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Send some movement into your fingers, into your toes. And on the next inhale, you can stretch the arms up to the ceiling or over your head. Get a nice stretch. And then as you exhale, bend the right knee, slide the right foot on the floor, followed by the left. Return the arms back down by the sides. And then we'll slowly roll onto our right side, taking a moment in Fetal Pose. And as you're ready, let's press our way up to a comfortable seat, head coming up last. When you get there, let's stack the hands atop our heart. Take a moment to feel gratitude for anything or everything that you have in your life. And let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart center. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice. As always, it is a privilege and a joy. Namaste. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you today. And if you have any feedback or any comments, or if you like the video, or even if you didn't like the video, please let me know. And if we do have enough people that enjoyed having the video to help them through their practice, then I can continue to make them, hopefully on a weekly basis. But please be well, be safe, be healthy. Please continue your yoga practice, whether it's with me or on your own. And we will see you next time.